Hello there everybody, this is Graham, also known as the Collector75, and welcome to what we're going to do here. We're going to do a Judge Dredd board game review. Now I'm going to do two of these because I've got two of them, so that sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Yes, so the first one is this one. This is the Judge Dredd, the game of crime fighting in Mega City 1. Now, before I go on, I don't know whether you're going to notice or anything, but this is sort of my new sort of setup I've got going for me here. I'm actually in my son's bedroom under his bunk bed. Oh, Jesus. And I'm in a little bit of pain because I whacked my head on the fucking bunk bed as I went to do this, and it is fucking hurt. I've got a lump on the size of my head, the size of a fucking golf ball. And I was hoping maybe, I don't know, through the accident or something, it might have given me some sort of like telekinesis or some fucking thing just to, you know, get some benefit out of it. But no, nothing, I'm afraid. Just a rather large lump and a nice headache to go along with it. Yeah, so anyway, so that's a little story behind that. Yeah, so hopefully the lighting will be okay because I put some lights up under his bunk bed. He's got like a bunk bed with a sort of like desk area underneath it. And I put some lights up and it was pretty cool, and I thought, you know what, that is a good area to do this. But we'll see how it goes anyway. So maybe the sound's different. Also got one of these funny little lights over here. It's one of these little plasma things. It's not going to show up as bright as I was bloody hoping. I thought that'd be really cool in the corner, but it's not. Maybe if I turn the lights down, hold on, if I turn the old lights down you can see it better. Is that going to show up now? There you go. Anyway, right, I digress. Let's get back to the point in hand. Hold on, let's turn these lights back up. Right, so all right, yes, so we're going to do this. The game of crime fighting in Mega City 1. Now, I've had this since, what, about 1990 or 1991, somewhere around there. On a me. Yeah, I had it. Where did I get it from? I think I got it from like Virgin Games because they had in Virgin Megastore down Oxford Street, and I think at the time they had a Games Workshop in there because obviously this is actually produced by Games Workshop. There's the old logo there, not like the new one. Yeah, now it's actually a pretty cool game. Let's go to the back of the box here. Now we've got our usual little synopsis here, and we've got an overview of all the contents and everything. I'm going to go through that in a minute. Let's have a look now. How shall I do this? Right, so on the front here we've got a Judge Dredd, obviously, and we've got lots of the enemies of Judge Dredd. Right, so what am I going to do next? So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to put this to one side, and we're going to show you everything we get in the box. We get some action cards. These give you some stats and everything like that. We've got our perpetrators and crime cards. I'm going to go through those because they are probably one of the most interesting bits. We've got our card album, which is exactly the same as this really, just in the album. I suppose it's like a reference and gives more sort of details on all the cards and everything. So if you're unfamiliar with Judge Dredd's world, that is a good place to find some stuff. We've got some rulebook. Like that. I always like this one. Judge Death is a political prisoner. Release him now. I like that one. Yep, so there's your rule books. We've got some more stuff here. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm not going to camera over then. I can't get this one out. We've got some more stuff. Let's have a look. We've got Judge Dredd, the role-playing game. I've never actually had that one. This one is called Judgment Day. This Judgment Day contains a complete scenario for the Judge Dredd game. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. There we go. Don't know if that means it's probably for this actually. Yeah, shame. It's been cool if it had been for this. I would have tried to track it down. We've got Road Trooper game. We've got Judge Dredd, Slaughter Margin. Never heard of that one. Oh, it's just a supplement for the role-playing game there. And then we come to our board. Now then, I'm going to see if it's going to fit on here. Otherwise, it's going to sort of like be cut here roughly, and then I'll show you an overview of it. Right, so here we are with the board. It didn't, well, it sort of did all fit down, but it was right up against my camera edge here. So we are going to start down here in the, see, this was made in 1982. We're going to start down here. We've got the Power Tower. Now, these are, as you can see, this is like just a basic map of Mega City 1. We've got some sort of like areas that stick out. We've got the Agrodome, we've got the Alien Zoo, Otto Sump's Ugly Clinic. What else have we got around here? We've got the Dream Palace. We got the West 17 Test Labs, the Sunshine Synthifuse even. They've got the Maze. The Maze, I believe, was... there's a story behind all of these places, and this is why I love Judge Dredd. Now, I suppose I should give you some background on Judge Dredd, of course, if you're unfamiliar with Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd appeared in 2000 AD, starting back in 1977, and was just a future take on America, really. Let's have a look. Because obviously 2000 AD at the time was supposed to be how things were supposed to be maybe look in the year 2000, but obviously this one was set like in 2199, I believe, when it started. Yeah, and so obviously America back in the Atomic Wars, I can't remember exactly what date they were, like 2040 maybe, 2070, I'm not exactly sure when the Atomic Wars took place. And it devastated the planet, really. Vast regions of the Earth were now an atomic wasteland, and the people just were hemmed into these big, vast megacities of the future. Yeah, and that's it, really. And most of the population lives in blocks, which will come into play in the next video for Blockmania. And obviously, because it's set in the 22nd century, the crimes are slightly different than what you would find today, even though a lot of things actually do mimic today's world. Funnily enough. Yes, so down here we have the Academy of Law. I like the Academy of Law. Do like that, and I like the Statue of Judgment there. As you can see, there's a great, if you ever read is it America, that's a great storyline, and it starts off with, I think it's Judge Dredd. He's just shot a terrorist on the steps of, I think it's the Statue of Liberty, and he's going on about freedom and what is the price of freedom and everything like that, or something, or the price of justice. And he goes, and I love seeing the Statue of Judgment towering over liberty. And it's all about that, and it's just a great storyline. Yes, so obviously the judges took over after the Atomic Wars because it was decided that basically the political systems that we have today are just prove that they were inept at controlling people, and so basically dictatorships took over everywhere. The judges are a dictatorship. They are behold to no one. There is no elections in Mega City 1. The judges are everything. They are judge, jury and executioner all in one. And yeah, so that is basically Judge Dredd's world, and it just goes from there. Judge Dredd is actually the hero of the story, as you can see, but it's also, in a lot of stories, he's also the villain, especially if you look at America. And you can see the tyranny of what they actually do, even though they do, what's the word I'm looking for? Do a lot of good. Right, so that is the basic map. Now we're going to go on to some of Judge Dredd's villains and the crimes of Mega City 1. All this game was, by the way, I forgot to actually allude to what this game was supposed to do. You've got the little black lines here. You'd move from sector to sector as your judge, and you would place certain crimes with certain perps turned over. You couldn't see what they were, obviously, until your judge got there, basically. And then it was a base case of there was a number on the crime and number on the perp, and your judge had a certain bit, and then you would have to roll a dice to see if you could beat that perpetrator and everything like that, really. And if you beat them, that score goes to you and everything like that, and you just go on until the game ended, really, and then you work out who's the winner. And that was it, really. But it was just great playing on this board. I loved it. Right, I'm going to put this camera down now, and we're going to carry on and look at some of the cards. Right, so let's go through what you actually get in the box. These are our plain pieces. We've got little coloured judge figures there and a dice, obviously. We have got these ones over here. Now I'm going to get these out of the bag. These are action cards. Again, these would have been drawn every turn or something. And so we've got movement. Judge Dredd requisitions your Lawmaster. Halve your next move. Or you can play it this way. I'm not exactly sure of the exact rules because it's been so many years since I played this game. Or you have been disguised by the Justice Department's face changing machine. Add 1 to your combat roll. I'm not quite sure how you'd play either one. I'm not quite sure on that one. But then we would have some sector cards, and I can't remember these exactly because you've got the sectors here. But let's just turn one over. You've got Riker's Shuggy Hall, a bit like a pool hall, I think. We've got the maze, which is over there. This actually featured in Judge Dredd Death's first story, I believe. So you've got sectors, and then you've got judge card, which you've just got on your turn start, and just then. Not exactly sure what they were for now. It's been a long time. So let's start with the perpetrators. Actually, should we start with the perpetrators or the crimes? I think the perpetrators, because the crimes are just as bizarre as the perpetrators. We are going to go for Lumpy Lemk. I can't even remember who this guy is, but these are some great. I'm going to see if this will focus in around here, actually. There we go. I can't remember the guy. Was it Ron Smith done a lot of this artwork? He was in Transformers number 81 with the Wreckers, first appearance of the Wreckers. But he'd done some loads of Judge Dredd. Stories back in the past. Can't remember him. We got Zit of the Hellfire Club. I can't really remember him. It was just a weird gang. Most of these, now, Judge Dredd has a very strange thing with his comics, is that the fact he doesn't get a lot of recurring villains. About the only ones that recur are Judge Death, the Dark Judges, PJ maybe, and the Angel Gang. Offhand, are about the only ones that are recurring, because usually he has a habit of killing pretty much all his foes at the end of the story usually. Let's have a look. We've got the Kovacs mob. Can't remember that. We've got Geek Gordon. We got Ice Pick Brown. He's a handsome fella, isn't he? And then we got the Don Uggy Apolingo, the Fast Eek, and Joe Bananas. There are obviously some monkeys that have been experimented on, and now they're looking like some Al Capone sort of outfit. And then we got Remington Ratner. That's a great name. And then we got the Clegs and the Clegg Hounds. They featured in, I think it was The Day the Law Died, and were requisitioned by the insane Judge Caligula. It was like a weird alien race, but they've definitely got a taste for human flesh. And then we've got Joseph Mad 2 McKill. That's great. No, I love that. And then we got Orlok the Assassin. He featured in one of my favourite ever Judge Dredd stories, which was what was it? It was Blockmania. I love that story. Absolutely brilliant story. And then we've got Gestapo Bob Harris. Oh dear, that is a classic one. We got the Angel Gang, which are just one of the best. We've got Power Angel, we've got, is it Think Angel, we've got Link, and then we've got the Mean Machine. The Mean Machine was just another one of my great characters that I love, because he's got a dial on his head, because when he was born in the Cursed Earth, because there's lots of mutants and everything in the Cursed Earth, he had a dial on his head to control his anger, because the rest of the Angel Gang were thieves, murderers and misfits, and just the worst criminal gang in the Cursed Earth. But poor old Mean, he was a really nice little boy. He didn't like doing bad things, and so Pa Angel got a medic in from Texas City, and basically had him altered. They replaced one of his arms with a robotic arm, replaced part of his skull with this metal sort of helmet, and a dial which would control his anger. He would go from 1, which is surly, all the way right up to number 4, which was just brutal, I think. I can't remember now. It's been a long time since I've read some Mean Angel. But he was great. I loved it. Oh no, I think that's Junior. It's not Think, because that's the Think. Yeah, but he was great. He did actually die in his debut story, which was like, was it the Judge Child? But he did get brought back to life, and is featured ever since, pretty much. We got Think Angel. He's part of the Angel Gang. And then we got Ma Fingers McHaffey. I can't remember her. We've got Hermie Gans, Spider Schultz Blitz Agent. I'm not sure who that is. We'll come to Judge Dredd last, because he's brilliant. We've got the Doomsday Dogs. I can't remember who the Doomsday Dogs were. We've got Professor Frankenstein and Dennis, whoever they were. Dobie Queeg, Rex Peters, Ma Jong. Oh, that's a great name, isn't it? Philmar Faro. I can't remember. Do you know what? I can't remember half these characters. Slick Ike Colorado, Slick Willie. We got Rico Dredd. Obviously, Rico Dredd is Judge Dredd's brother, or clone brother, obviously. Whereas Judge Dredd was very upholding of the law, Rico Dredd didn't always see it that way, and broke the law. And then Judge Dredd judged him. Sent him to Titan for 20 years. We got Jurgen Monks. We got the Mantis brothers. And then, of course, we do have Judge Death with some great Brian Bolland artwork there. Judge Death comes from a parallel dimension. In his dimension, judges basically assume that all crime is committed by the living. Therefore, life must be illegal. And so they declare life illegal. And they wipe life from the face of their planet. But in another story which gives Judge Death's origins of how exactly he become like a walking unkillable zombie, they travelled dimensions bringing their own warped sense of justice, and then they brought it to Mega City 1, but so far Judge Dredd has always been able to stop Judge Death, even though sometimes it has cost them quite dearly, especially when you look at Necropolis. Necropolis was a great storyline featuring the Dark Judges there. We're going to put those over there, and then we're going to come to some of the crimes. Like I say, some of the crimes are even more bizarre than the villains he fights. We've got tobacco smoking. Now, if you look back at 1977's comics, I think I watched this on the 2000 AD DVD that you can sort of get, where it is, goes into the history of 2000 AD. Comics post sort of like 2000 AD were heavily moderated. They couldn't feature any sort of regular crimes because they deemed them that they didn't want children sort of seeing them, so they couldn't feature them. So they had to invent their own crimes. I believe it stemmed from especially one that was definitely in the limelight. Well, I think it was called Action. One of the covers featured a policeman being sort of like kicked in the face by just a hoodlum or something like that. Oh no, it was just a normal bloke being kicked by this guy in the face. And for some reason, the way it was coloured, the colourist made a complete and utter boo-boo. He decided to colour the guy that was kicking the... Oh no, hang on. He coloured the guy that was on the floor being kicked in the face in... I think it was the same colour that in the background there's a policeman. So it looked like it was a policeman on the ground being kicked in the face by a nutter. And because of that, it looked like they were promoting violence against the police or something. And so after that, I think the moderators came down on British comics. And so they had to be careful what they published. It's all different these days, but that's just the way it went. So tobacco smoking, that was about one of the only real sort of crimes, if you can call it that, that is... that they could feature. So it's obviously smoking is banned in Mega City 1. Pretty much like it's banned pretty much all around the world these days, or it's frowned upon at least. We've got slow driving, which I nearly failed my test for a long time ago, because the highways of Mega City 1, they drive at about 400-500 miles an hour and usually have computers controlling them. So anyone driving too slow is a hazard. We've got the Mega City 5000. I can't remember what that was exactly because I'm a legal race. We've got scrawling, which is just your basic stuff. We've got alien seed selling. As you can tell, it's in the future, so obviously they've gone off-world. They've got all these alien seeds, so obviously you don't want to have them running around. We've got Stookie glanding, because these aliens, I think if you use the gland out of the Stookie, it does unfortunately die, but it can halt the signs of aging. Umpty bagging. Now, Umpty was a candy, if you will, if you're in America, or some sort of sweet if you're in the UK, that had one of the most addictive tastes ever. It even addicted the computers that were trying to test it to analyse what was in it. It would just wanted sample after sample after sample. It was quite funny, really. They could never decipher exactly why it was so addictive. Other than but they had no addictive substances in it, but they had to ban it because it was causing mass panic in the streets because of people just wanted it. Now I'm going to have to rush this video because I've only got another 2 minutes worth of memory on this card. We've got robot smashing. We've got body sharking, which I assume is the same as organ legging, which is basically just using organs to sell on. We've got sky heist. We've got an emergency, judge in trouble is a basic one there. Burglary is a basic one. We've got a protection racket. We all know what a protection racket is. We've got murder, kidnap, footsie, which is a person, because it's in the future, they can't handle the future world and just go insane. We've got littering. We've got tap, which is just a bit of like a mugging. We've got old comic selling, because it could not feature along with, has it got old, has it got, hold on a minute, has it got that? I don't know if it's going to have it. It's not got it, but the same with sugar selling. You can't, they couldn't feature certain drugs and everything like that, so they would have other things that people get addicted to, like collecting. You know, like we collect comics, we collect toys and everything like that. So they'd made it illegal, just so they could have a story which had a different thing, reference to drugs and everything, which is kind of funny. And I always find this game really funny, because if you was playing this game properly, you would have Judge Dredd called to a crime, and it'd be old comic selling, and you would get Judge Death, old comic selling or littering. I always found that really funny, but that's probably just me. So we got perp running, we got arson, we got armed robbery, we got blackmail, we got boinging, we got moped hijack, and we just got murder again. Right, I've got 10 seconds. All in all, I love playing this game, and if you can find them, you can usually get them for about 20 or 30 quid on eBay. Right, bye for now.